Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Milton here to do another video. This time I'm doing a movie review, and the movie is titled Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This movie was directed by George Lucas himself. It was released May 19th, 1999. And the movie stars Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, Natalie Portman, Frank Oz, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, and Jake Lloyd, and Samuel Jackson, and Ian McDiarmid, who plays Senator Palpatine. I'm going to talk about the likes and dislikes of this film, but before I get into it, let's talk about just the prequels in general. This movie was the first movie in a new prequel series that was released. And I know the hype up to this movie was very serious. I would have been 10 years old when this movie came out. And I know, look, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a huge prequel fan. I'm a huge original trilogy fan. I like the new trilogy coming out now. So let me put it to you that way. But when this movie came out, my dad was a huge fan of this movie. Of the series of Star Wars, and when he told me about this movie, I was excited. Now, we didn't see this in theater. We waited to get it out on tape when it came out. But I remember it's just the hype because a lot of people were like, oh my God, what's George going to do? This is about the story of Anakin Skywalker, when he's going to be Darth Vader. We don't know that story. I know people have read about it, like the whole how he got into the Iron Lung suit. That was cool to see. And I think a lot of fans, with their expectations, they were let down. And I think that's because of fans' expectations, not because of what George's expectations. It's fans' expectations, and we have to remember this is George's baby. Like, I know people may say, "Oh, the Phantom Menace and the prequels didn't feel like Star Wars." Well, how do we know that? Like, I know we're fans, and I'm not trying to say we're stupid, but we're not the creators of it. George is. George and his team created the Star Wars world. This is his idea, so it's not right for us to say that the prequels didn't feel like Star Wars. And that's just my opinion before I get into the movie. So if you don't agree with my opinion, that's fine. If you do agree with me, that's fine too. Let me know what you think. But the license about this movie is what it is. I loved Obi-Wan's character, and I love Qui-Gon Jinn's character. You get introduced to those characters, and just seeing how the relationship is throughout the movie is awesome. Qui-Gon Jinn was clearly the master who was in tune with the Force, very balanced in the Force. He knew a lot of things about the Force, and he was that the council didn't approve of. But that's actually a good thing because he wasn't a dogmatic, old viewing Jedi. Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was his apprentice slash Padawan, he was that naive Jedi who tended to believe everything the council was feeding him. You can clearly see that at first. He's like, Master, don't defy the council again. If you didn't defy the council, you would be on the Jedi Council. And he's like, look, I have to do what I have to do, Obi-Wan. It is what it is. And I felt that Obi-Wan's character really developed up this movie, and even throughout the series, because you saw him go from that naive, Padawan to a full-fledged Jedi Knight, Jedi Master at the end, who's on the council. You got to see that, he understood where Qui-Gon was coming from. And by the end of Revenge of the Sith, you saw that, okay, Qui-Gon might have been right. But yeah, that's another that's a I like about the film. I love the pod racing scene, especially when George re-released it on DVD and Blu-ray. He extended it. It was awesome. It was beautifully shot. The sound was great. You got to see how powerful Anakin was with the Force, which was pretty awesome. Another positive about this movie is Darth Maul's character. Even though he didn't talk much, didn't get a lot of screen time. When he was on screen, you knew he was all about business. That was pretty cool to see that red and black tattoo on his face and the horns and the double-bladed lightsaber. We'll get into the battle later. It's fucking tits. Palpatine, played by Ian McDiarmid, just seeing him manipulate as a senator and eventually become the chancellor was awesome. He also plays Sidious. Like, he is the best villain. I've said this before. He's one of the best villains in movies history. I know there's Voldemort and Hans Gruber and Darth Vader, but he's a fucking badass dude. And even when his plans don't go right, he still knows what to do. It's awesome to see how he manipulates. And Ian McDiarmid's one of the best actors in the world, and he brings it. And he's a theater actor, and he does a great job at bringing that presence to the film. And you can clearly see that he's a KG vet who's experienced at doing this. So it wasn't surprising that he's one of the best parts of this movie. Another part is the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul. Fucking tits, dude. Like, I remember seeing this when I was a kid. I watched this scene multiple times. I think I wore out the tape because of that scene. Like, I loved it. Just seeing how badass the double-bladed lightsaber was. Seeing how Obi-Wan, fought. Seeing how Qui-Gon fought. And the cool thing about that fight was whenever, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan get separated. And Qui-Gon's fighting Darth Maul. And, there's those laser doors that goes happening. And you saw when Qui-Gon and Darth Maul are fighting, they get separated too. And you just see how attuned Qui-Gon is with the Force, how patient he is. Once he's not fighting, he goes to his four-legged Indian-style sitting position, meditates, and energize himself with the Force. But then you see the contrasting styles between the Force, the Jedi, and the Sith. How Darth Maul is just pacing back and forth, just ready to go, ready to kick it, which was awesome, dude. I love that. It makes me want to be a Sith Lord, dude. It makes me want to kick ass and cut off heads, dude. It's awesome. I don't really want to do that, but it's the feeling I get when I watch that film. But yeah, man, it's so great, like just seeing that, and of course you see the unfortunate death of Qui-Gon. But then you got to see Obi-Wan step his game up and trash Darth Maul, which is dope. Another positive, just I like the politics in this movie, and that's something that people don't like about these prequel films. I love the politics. I like a good political thriller. I love just seeing the ins and outs of how a system, how this problem happened in Star Wars. And you needed that for the story. You needed to see the ascension of Palpatine. He's the key of why Star Wars went the way it is, and also with Qui-Gon's death. Those two things happening, you need to have that for Star Wars to be what it is today, especially with the original trilogy. So we'll go from that to my weaknesses, because no film is perfect unless it's Empire Strikes Back. This film has its issues, and I'll point out a few. Jar Jar Binks. Some people may like him, some people don't. I personally don't like him that much. I think he's too over the top, too slapsticky. I didn't enjoy his voice. I thought he served his purpose in the story, but they didn't really need him in there. Now, this is how I would have fixed him. I would have just I would have dubbed him with an alien voice, like, Jabba the Hutt and them had in the original trilogy. I would have dubbed him with an alien voice, toned down some of the humor, kept him in the story to serve his purpose, but toned down some of the humor and keep him from speaking English, because I felt that it was over too much. I don't know. I didn't like the fart jokes and the poop jokes. They were kind of stupid. It is what it is. Another thing I didn't like about it were the Trade Federation, like their leaders. Newt Gunray, for example, just how he spoke was annoying. Again, dubbing with an alien voice, I'd have been fine. And then there's an anti-cheese version of the Phantom Menace on YouTube, and they do that. And actually, I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed them actually when they do that, and when they dub their voices over, I was okay with that. Another weakness about the film, wasn't enough Darth Maul. Wasn't enough Darth Maul in my opinion. He should have been in this movie till the end, and also even in Attack of the Clones. Just saying that, put it out there. But again, George made up for that. He made him up by bringing him back into Clone Wars, and now he's in Rebels. So there we go. I'm happy with it. Can't really complain that much now. Another weakness was Yoda. Not because it's Yoda, it's just what he looked like. Yoda's character, and when this movie first came out in '99, they made the practical puppet, which people were like, oh, okay, the practical puppet, that's what he is. But it was so bad. It looked atrocious. I don't care if you're an original trilogy fan or a prequel lover. You know that puppet wasn't very good looking. That puppet was trash. When George did the DVDs and Blu-rays, he brought him back digitally, which worked out beautiful. I'm cool with that. That's how it should have been. And I like why he did that, because look at it. Yoda's younger in the prequels. He's more lively. When he's in the original trilogy, he's frail. He's older. He's still strong with the Force, but he's not physically looking like he's spry. And I like that to make him look more realistic in the original trilogy, but in the prequels, he's more, lively. He's part of the council. He's had something to do. That was cool to see that two contrasts of Yoda. We have, which is dope. And my last weakness probably has to be Padme Amidala. Even though I like her strong female character, I didn't like her voice. That's probably a nitpicky thing. They made that too, grown manish. I'm like, nah, they didn't need to do that. But again, that's nitpicky. But overall, those are my overall thoughts of the Phantom Menace. And I'm going to grade this as on point. It's on point. It's worth your money. You can get these on Blu-ray, get them on DVD. I prefer you to get them. It's Star Wars. I have them no matter what. Just because this movie has its issues don't mean it's a bad film. It's a good Star Wars movie. It's a good film. It tells a great story. George tells a great story, people. Let's not forget that. And this whole movie is beautifully done when it comes to visuals. Oh, I forgot about the visuals. God, that's another positive. The visuals in this movie was beautiful. Naboo was beautiful. Coruscant was beautiful. Loved it. Trust me. And the other thing is, too, people, for those original trilogy fans who say that, oh, George used too much CGI, you're actually wrong. First of all, he shot this movie on film. Second, he used a lot of models. And he did use a lot of practical effects in this. And he actually built some sets. He built a lot of sets in this. Film shot differently now, especially in 1999 compared to 1977. The film stock looks completely different, and it's just how films look. And it's a beautifully done thing, so I thought the visuals were great. It was stunning, man. He took a chance. That's the thing. You can't make Star Wars look the same. If it looked the same, it would be very boring. Okay? Why do you think a lot of people were bitching about The Force Awakens? I mean, people love that movie, but they said, hey, it's a rehash of New Hope. Come on. You can't please everybody. But yeah, I mean, it's stunning. And like I said, I'm gonna grade this as an on point because that's how good it is. And again, get it on Blu-ray, get it on DVD. Tell me what you think. Have you seen The Phantom Menace? Do you like The Phantom Menace? Don't you like it? Just tell me. Let's leave your comment below. Look for my review of Attack of the Clones that's going to be coming soon. I'll do Revenge of the Sith later this week too. So, like I always say, people, comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.
What up? Hey, shout it what it is. What up? Hey, shout it what it is. What up? Hey, shout it what it is. Little buddy, what you on? Some violent shit. Two-stepping, laid back, still.